Hey guys, welcome back to What Could Go Wrong, because clearly nothing ever goes wrong. Uh, so gonna be hitting a Noku 9 real quick. Uh, Already got the group formed up. I just ran inside, throwing down a feast real quick. Once again, like I said in previous video, always want to make sure your vials and your runes. So if you check out my group comp, went a little different this time. Had a double chamois group. Double chamois group applies, so I took both of them. We got double priest. Um, should make for a very interesting run. And alright, I guess we'll see what happens. Alright, one person. Alright, and here we go. Sorry about the delay on the start. Trying to figure out the first pull. So, starting out, I do not take the double group. I don't see a reason for that. Not on a first pull. Now, with that being said, if your group is destroying DPS, yes, 100%. So first pull, crash into this group right here. You'll get your speed buff, stun, and an interrupt going. So make sure you always want to interrupt the Lancecaster when he does his shout, and you want to try and have a stun ready for when they do a rallying cry. Beyond that, these groups are pretty simple. I do recommend for the first group, because everybody's flying in and you're trying to get everybody around, I recommend definitely pop meta. It just makes things easier. These groups I always precast defensives before. That guy needs to come over here. And we're going to run towards this caster. There we go, we got nice shaman. Alright. All pretty simple. So on these groups, it can turn into a lot of damage really fast. So make sure that you are, no matter what tank you're playing, make sure that you're always up on your defensives and make sure that you're staying on top of them. It just makes the healer's life that much easier, and it helps you stay alive. I can't deal with that rally. Looks like that rally's going to go off. Interrupt the shout. Pretty straightforward on the trash here. I'm going to move myself up like this guy. Get out of that. And we kill at perfect timing. Lots of space for these guys. Then I like to throw Sigil of Silence down. I don't know if it does anything. We're up to shout. There we go. Throw another Sigil down. once again, especially with this group right here, because there's a lot going on, definitely want to make sure you're staying on top of your defensives. All right. I've seen this group get out of control really quick. Very simple. And on to the last weapon. Just like that. Simple and easy way to clear this out without too much craziness going on. Looks like the rally got off. I think we might have missed some interrupts there. It's alright. Shouldn't be terrible. Alright. That interrupt. Now for this boss, I like to predetermine who's going to get weapons. Just to see, make sure it's set up, because if you don't get it, like you'll if it's the wipe, it's almost an instant wipe. Jump out of that. Go. Nice. So I'm not sure if you guys can see the chat or not, but the healer said that they would do the affix, or do the affix, they would do the weapons. So it's one less thing we have to worry about here. The other thing I like to do is I like to jump closer to the weapon that's going to be going off so that the ad is kind of in your path. See, here comes the ad. I can get a stun going. Oh, crap. I stunned too early. Just got to take that guy out. Alright. We're going to jump back over here. We're going to kill this ad. Should have one more phase. Again, going to move myself, jump backwards. Run in. We should be having, the ad should be coming up in a second here. There he is. Got my stun effect, and I can just straight fell devastation on him. Sigil. There we go. I was kind of close on the ad, so. One other thing that's nice is when you're building your group comps, especially for this dungeon in particular, having ranged on that boss is super helpful, because even when he's doing stuff and melee has to run out, they're still doing DPS. So it's super, super convenient to have them. So I try to generally stack ranged in here, but you also don't want to overdo it for your healer. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those little guys over here. While they're here, they are easy to deal with. And it looks like that healer is going to be on point with that. So make sure these storm callers, you want to interrupt their storm bolts as much as you can, but you do have to use a direct interrupt. Unfortunately, the stun effects don't seem to work, which isn't that big of a deal. You just got to make sure that your timing interrupts, and you got to make sure that your group is able to work together. Interrupt that. Get out of there. Alright, I've got that interrupt. Okay. And we get the interrupt there. And there we go. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come grab this group right here. In reality, you can grab this group essentially whenever it's convenient. I would 100% recommending that. Not sure why those guys came down, but okay. Then on that Thunder Beast, or the Primalist Thunder Beast, ideally you want to interrupt his Chain Lightning if you can, or his Thunder Strikes. But again, he's immune to the stuns, so you have to do the manual interrupts. So it's always good to try and coordinate out with the group. I use Omni CD, how I track everything. Easier. Alright, so for this boss, best way to do it is let your group spread out. Try and get a Fell Devastation off like as soon as you can. And then don't collect any orbs the first time around. Just try and destroy all of them with these bolts. Or with the circles, I mean. And then start collecting on these second time around. So like now. I'm going to go ahead and imprison that guy. Pick up these. I was slightly off position. Make sure when the orbs and everything start coming down, definitely want to make sure you position yourself in a way that you can still collect the orb. While you're channeling, so you don't lose out on DPS, absorbs, anything like that. Whoa. I'm gonna need that. Move out this way. So I'm not sure if you guys saw my trinket go off there, but it definitely just saved my life because I gotta get defensives going. Nope. Dang, what hit me? Wind burst. Yeah, I'm afraid that one was 100% my fault. I got outside of the melee range and got smacked. So unfortunately, gonna be a wipe on that one. Hate to see it, but it does happen. And just want to get back as quick as we can. That way we don't lose too much time here. Okay. So again, going to take the same strategy. Going to use my wild hunt. Make sure we're good to go. Get in the melee range. Get our Fell Devastation off as fast as we can. So one other thing, and I did not do this on either pull, that you definitely want to do is pre-cast defensives. Shit. It is incredibly important. Especially on a tyrannical week. Just to make sure that I don't make the same mistake twice, I'm going to wait and I'm just going to let my orbs come to me. I'm going to hope that my DPS are able to work around that. Okay, yep, and there we go. Big hit. It's going to be there. Alright. Go ahead and pop my meta. There we go. Got a lot of orbs coming in, so it's probably better to just go ahead and burn them all. A little bit of cleanup and run around and get my defensive back up. Okay. And as you can see, this round is going much better because I'm not really chasing my orbs. I'm letting them come to me, which appears to be working out a lot better. I'm going to come over here, take all of these. And once again, let's just burn them. Wow. I'm going to die. Yep, that was not good. Okay. And there we go. 2 bosses are down. We're doing really well on time. All working out. So for this part, this is primarily where you're going to make up all of your percent. In general, what I will do is I'll pull this top group, go ahead and pop my meta for it. There are pathers that are going to fly around and can come down, so it's better if you can start out with strong defenses. I'm going to go and try and take this guy out of the fight. Got him in there. So, yep, they're the pathers, so we started out strong, which means our survivability is good, which means that we should be okay. Just put a stun out there and get out of that circle. So this group has to be killed either way. I like to take it out first just because it's at kind of like a starting point, and you can kind of make a U around when you're chasing percent. Next, I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to use my hunt. That way I can kind of hit everybody at once. Spin around. Make sure you hold a sigil or 2 for right out the gate. He's going to call more wilds. So he's going to call more beasts, his desecrating roar. So you want to always make sure that you have something. I personally think that sigils are the best way to get them, because you can see I'm kind of struggling right now. The other option, there is always tab target tanking. I am not a fan of it, but I know a lot of people that do tank that way, and they feel that that is the best way to tank. So, you know, obviously, I'm going to do a stun there, and then we're going to come out here. Let's go ahead and get a sigil. Let's get a silence going on, I should say. Then go ahead and drop a second one. Save the group some interrupts. Pretty much, there's really not anything wrong to interrupt on these groups from what I have seen. I'll be honest, I actually do not know what the priorities are, so I really couldn't tell you. But I'm going to take this group straight into here. Mostly because I have my meta up, so it works. We've been doing pretty good on interrupts. Go ahead and throw that down there. We'll deal with those guys for a little bit and stop this little necromancy thing we got going on. And then I'm going to hit him again. So again, just kind of for the interrupting purposes. Oh, I triggered my trinket. Now we've got a silence. Just silencing those guys, bring them right down here. That's really what I was waiting for, to jump down. I was trying to keep those guys. I think somebody was doing DPS and hitting them. Unfortunately, my Sigil of Misery does not withstand very much damage. So that is always unfortunate to deal with, but it has to be done. Then we're just going to go right back into the same thing. The way that I like to do this is I will I'll kind of just tank them down the hill as I need to move. You can throw a stun out to get the interrupts as you need to. Yep. So we're going to get that instant interrupts. They're going to come follow me down this hill. And we just DPS them down. Then I'm going to go right back into this Beast Caller. That's awesome. So somebody went over. So there's actually an RP that starts on the boss, or that the boss does prior to you being able to go and attack it. A lot of times groups will just ignore it and wait until you get over there. That way they can stay over here. They can, top the charts, or they can be top DPS, whatever we need. Misery. I'm not sure how we managed to get these guys, but I am going to have to get back there to this guy. Get taunts off. Alright. And then I'm just going to turn this way for jump backs. Here we go. Very nice. On the shamans are definitely utilizing all of their utility. And that is helping us out. Especially now with that desecrating roar. And I'm almost, so I want to keep backing up. So one big thing is wear leather tanks as a demon hunter. So you want to make sure that you don't want things to get behind you. So looks like we're going to be a little bit over on percent, but I think that's okay. Ideally, you want to be in the 94 percentage is about where you want to be before you go over to the other area. It just kind of saves you from having to backtrack, kill trash, find a group that's not going to have a bunch of interrupts for you to deal with, and a whole bunch of utility needed. So this is, in general, this is about what I pull usually. I kind of like to alternate it. Sometimes I'll take out the group on the other side. It does get a little bit tougher though, because there's a beast caller and several interrupts. So yeah, so it looks like we're only going to be about 1-2% over, which is easy enough. So on this boss, as the tank, you want to make sure that you are targeting Tira, because she is pretty much what everybody's going to focus on, but you also need to make sure that you don't lose aggro on Maruk. Okay, so she's going to jump, so we're going to jump with her. Throw a defensive up, and Fel Devastate. So, on these bosses, one thing I will say, this boss and the last boss as well, Fel Devastation, like, we're already pretty much using it as a strong defensive cooldown, using it as it's just a very strong spell. But on these bosses, like, it does so much damage, you really have to, the second it comes up, even if it's going to overlap with your demon spikes, you really have to use it as soon as it comes up, because one, there's a lot of damage going out, and two, it does insane amounts of damage. So I'm gonna throw a quick darkness down, kind of help out this other shaman, which we just lost our healer, and we lost, that's not cool. So it looks like we lost our healer, unfortunately. So now is when the utility of being a demon hunter is going to come into play. There's a lot of self-healing. I'm not sure if we're going to have a battle res. So pretty much what we're going to have to do here is I'm going to have to make sure that I don't die. DPS are going to have to make sure that they don't die, because unfortunately losing a healer um, is never in any key. It's never a good sign. But once you get this high, and once you're running this level of key, it can really make or break what happens. Yeah, and we just lost another DPS. I'm running out of things to use here. Let me get some distance. Nope. So unfortunately, with the amount of movement that is on this boss and all of that, it's really hard to stay alive as any tank, especially as a DP or as a demon hunter, because so much of our utility is built into it's built into attacking and generating soul shards and generating that fury. Like it's kind of requires us to be stationary and attack. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But I will say, especially if you guys ever see me online, I'm a firm believer that this is a game. Just have fun playing it. So I don't stress too much about untimed runs. Obviously, I do my best. I like to time runs. I like to be able to get that completion of feeling like I won. Um, so you know, cast that. It's unfortunate. So that's another thing is if you guys have a jump back or if you have a bounce or anything like that, um, you always want to try and aim yourself in the direction. Jesus. Aim yourself in the direction of the tank of the boss and where she's jumping to. 9 times out of 10, it is going to help you. But unfortunately, if you guys saw, I had to use a double jump on that first one, and that one, that really hurt me. So, because unfortunately, it messes up my cooldown timers and whatnot. What? Let's go and pop meta here. Just give the healer a break. Standing here. Go. Should be good. And I'm going to go ahead and bounce over here. And fell devastate. Yeah, see, this one thing I really like about shamans who have a good concept of like how their utility works is like that was a perfect time. It's a perfect time for them to have their summon their greater elemental. That definitely helps me out a lot, especially in this boss fight. Gives me a chance to get defensives going. Gives the healer a chance to kind of have a break. Um, you know, just a lot of good things that come. I know a lot of shamans that they utilize that elemental just absolutely horribly. Um, and unfortunately, it can screw the group over a lot more than it helps. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and bounce over here. Okay. Unfortunately, you guys will notice I'm kind of having some issues with my jumps on this particular run. Unfortunately, I've actually done this dungeon quite a few times. I've been grinding it out trying to get a piece of gear out of here, so I'm not sure what was going on with that fight. Alright. And then for these ads, kind of want to make sure you're not standing in the spears, not standing in the frontals. There's that, and there's also a charge that you have to worry about. So Balar is going to throw spears. He's also going to do a charge, so you kind of want to make sure that you can see where he's facing when he starts doing that. There's the charge. And then Batak just does a frontal that you just have to avoid, which is pretty simple. All in all, as long as you're DPSing both, you can focus Batak actually and cleave down on Balar. That's how most groups do it. And then once Batak goes down, you just kind of shift, or you focus shift. There's the spear, and there we go. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much of the chat you guys can see, but this healer is not, would appear to be a little more meta chasey than what I normally run with. Alright, so there is a trick. If you can see where that shaman took that, he's going to run straight into the rock. You do that on all of his charges, and it actually keeps the charge. He hits that rock and he stops. So when he hits the rock, he's not going to charge through anybody. He's not going to run into anybody. Makes it so much better on the healer. It makes it a lot easier for the group because there's no group-wide damage to navigate. There we go. Yep, we see it again. You run behind that rock, and it stops it. It's super. It's super helpful for you on the first set, but it's much more helpful on the second charge than the or on the second set of charges than on the first. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if this one's going to go too well just because we have already lost a lot of people. And it's down to just me and the healer. Yeah, this is probably going to end up being a wipe, unfortunately. Just because we just don't have the interrupts up anymore. Yeah. Ugh. Super, super important that you have interrupts and silences and CCs going out. I don't know if you guys saw, I threw out both of my sigil silences. So, unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to get the timing on this one, which, again, I mean, obviously, like, the goal is the time you want to, but, I mean, as I said before, I tend to aim more just to have fun, play the game. Not sure how we all can see party members' names and whatnot, but Rendarin, the shadow priest that I got with me, is a guildie and a friend of mine, so me and him tend to run a lot and just kind of vibing with it. So already, because we're over time, healer is saying they're going to leave, which I'm not a huge fan of when people want to do that, unfortunately. I mean, I say if you're going to make it, you might as well finish out the key. There we go. Get a defensive up, and get a Fel Devastation off. So what I notice a lot of times is where this boss goes wrong, unfortunately, is on the ad phase. Once these ads come up, I mean, it's very chaotic. So a lot of groups save their hero for when it happens, and our healer just went down. Unfortunately, looks like it's going to determine a lot. Unfortunately, I think this run is going to be a little bit off. Alright. I'm going to pop my meta. Throw a silence over there. Throw a silence right here. Get my defensives rolling. And well, unfortunately not. So I'm going to run this way, get out of line of sight here, and unfortunately I'm going to go down. We'll have to see. See if our healer's going to stick around with us or not. Yep. Well, unfortunately, looks like this is going to be a bust on the key run. It does happen quite often. But, well, thanks for watching the video, and hope you guys were able to at least see some stuff that helps out, understand a few things that may have gone wrong for us in our group, and hopefully you guys were able to see something that helped you. Make sure you guys throw a like and subscribe on the channel. Thanks.